Hello everybody, and I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the MCN for Wednesday. Lots of things to go over to keep you updated in the Marvel Contest Champions community. So one of the first things was, there's been a few comments about Spring of Sorrow Gauntlet. Going back to a previous live stream, which I did mention in the video I did on Sunday, I was always under the impression that the July 17th is when the Gauntlet's going to be launched, based on the fact that Kabam's information in that particular live stream. Some people were saying, no, it starts on today. Do bear in mind that the Alliance War Showcase is also meant to start today. The incursions for Saga is meant to start today. So there's a lot of things that are happening today, and I kind of feel like it's not the case, and Kabam may choose to kind of break things up. So we'll have to see if the Gauntlet does drop today. If it doesn't, then of course it will be what Kabam said in this live stream, where this is taken from, that says July 17th. Also, with the Reparry situation, Kabam did obviously say that they would be looking to get a fix in at the point of late yesterday. They are looking to put it in. So how the timeline works for where you are in the world is going to differ. It could be by the time this video is released, it is fixed for the Reparry issue currently in game, or it's not. There's also the raid issue situation, like the broken aspects of it. I think that is being investigated now with an idea to get it fixed, but again, that's we'll really have to see. There's a lot of things that aren't really, you know, functioning well in game. And also onto a little bit of, like, you know, micro news or kind of catch up. I know a lot of people are very interested in the fact we've got a Kabam Jax kind of immortalization. For me, this is very much like a Freddie Mercury image that, you know, growing up, Freddie Mercury, Queen have always been like kind of that kind of amazing band, but this always reminded me of when I saw it, like I was like, this is very much like a Freddie Mercury image. I think they actually turned this into a stamp in the UK for a limited time. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but yeah, it's very much reminds me of that. But it got a lot of people thinking about Kabam Mike and whether or not he had anything like profile picture-wise. And he said that I had many profile pics and titles made. Room Temperature IQ was something I said a lot, and I got the True Believer title made to commemorate Stan Lee. The Mojo pic was at my request, as well as a few others. So he's had his stamp on the game, so I guess that's good in some ways. Because a lot of people, including myself, were like, well, why hasn't he had anything kind of like immortalizing himself? Or anything in particular. I mean, that's really it. That's his stamp on the game. And I've got my own title in the game, the Man title, which you can put on if you want. Which, funnily enough, you can see in game. It says that. It says commemorate the second community choice boss rush with special thanks to RichTheMan. They haven't put spacing. We never do spacing, but that's it in game. If anybody's rocking it. I've got the Gold Bloom just because I'm a massive fan of. Yes. Jeff Goldblum. Right, with all the micro news out of the way, let's get into the hard-hitting stories of the day, of the last 24 hours. And the first thing is the Alliance Wars Showcase X Magica. I'm sure a lot of people saw the in-game message and were just kind of like confused as to it, giving the impression that the X Magica Showcase, the Alliance Wars X Magica Showcase, has gone live. It had not gone live. In fact, that is a bit of a misleading thing, and of course got a lot of people very confused-icated on that particular situation. Kabam have clarified to say that it is coming out today. Hello, sorry for the confusion. This message is incorrect, and the showcase will run July 10th to July 24th. So you'll have 2 weeks in order to do it. Now, as I said, there is a lot of content going out at one given time. Gauntlet, or at least you might have a little bit more time extra for Gauntlet versus, say, the likes of the Alliance War Showcase. You may be more inclined to do Alliance War Showcase first, and then top up or re-top up all your resources to then go and do the other stuff. It may be case Alliance War Showcase is more straightforward. It may be a bit more easier. You know what I mean? It might be a bit more easier. That it makes you do an Italian accent for no reason. Hey. You may be Italian at home going, that is not my accent, and I'm sorry. Mario fault. Kabam Crash said, not sure what the plans are for announcing that content, but if it helps, it took me around 6 to 7 hours to play test it, so I would say set aside a few evenings in August to get it done, and you do not have to do it all in one sitting. Yeah, okay, so that's going through it multiple times then with the Alliance War Showcase. Is it that bad that you need to do 6 or 7 hours? Oh, anyway. We'll find out later on today if those are the scary things to go look out for. Of course, I'll be doing a video to kind of like showcase some decent options. And hoping there is not so much of a limited counter volume of champion usage as the last one. In a nutshell, hey, you know that content? Yeah. The content you can use a wide array of champions for? Yeah. Well, you can't use a wide array of champions. Yeah, but from the tagged, yeah, you still can't use a lot of those champions. Of course, it'd be even worse if this was the lineup of the champions you go up against, but from what I gather, Kabam are trying to steer away from that, but we'll have to see. Do you trust Kabam on putting a fair Alliance War Showcase together? Now on to Deathless Pieces and thoughts around this. Kabam Crashed offered a little bit of insight on the situation of those Deathless Pieces. Does it feel like you have to be a bit of a whale in order to grab some of those pieces? Are they very much available? And I guess for me personally, when they're in Battlegrounds, I just not really interested. I am working towards that. I need to have a flurry of work in Battlegrounds over the next 7 days because I am technically behind, but I'm hoping that the process is going to be a little bit more smoother. It has gone smooth so far. I'm just struggling for availability and time at the moment. But Kabam Crashed offered a little bit of insight to this to say that our Deathless Chase is one of the most accessible in the late game chase I can imagine. We have followed our 2 core rules that I set out on the stream when we first launched them. The prime acquisition method of Deathless Pieces will never be an offer and requires spending real money. Deathless Pieces will not be limited in number, such as they would be ranked rewards. There are plenty of free-to-play players who may make it to Gladiator Circuit every season. If you want the best stuff and you don't want to spend any money, it's going to require skill and time. That's how this works. So, you know, I guess kind of like limiting people with the opportunity to actually get it. Nah, you got to work hard for it. Okay, I think a lot of us established that. That's clear facts. The problem is when you're going into a game mode that, like Battlegrounds is, it's harder when there are better rosters stomping on what would be even just, you know, acceptable rosters that could achieve this particular piece being grabbed. And that's when things become a little bit sad. Like, it's like you're being priced out of the opportunity. Yeah, I mean, saying that, like, okay, some free-to-play get the Gladiator Circuit, but again, there's other layers to that, as a lot of people know. If you've been playing the game from the start of when a game came out, and you're a veteran player, of course, you may be a free-to-play player still from about 5 to say 10 years, and your roster would be a lot more established than someone that might have joined in the last 2 to 3 years. So yes, that is true, but it's always something that spirals off into another layer of argument as to going, yes, free-to-play do make Gladiator Circuit, but not all free-to-play that are within the capabilities based on roster depth, size, and other things like that. But how do you feel about the Deathless Chase? Have your say in the comments. Quickly on now to Titania. I've seen this particular post and a lot of traction and some stuff that I felt myself when it comes to Titania being a little bit of a, not problematic, but seeing less as potent. So Dark Knight Rise says, okay, as a player, use Titania quite frequently in Battlegrounds from the end of last year. I don't know why the intimidation after SP3 of Titania doesn't work like before. Currently, it's like 7 out of 10 times the AI still launches their special after got hit by Titania's SP3. Does anyone experience the same thing? Please share here and hopefully got acknowledged and explained from Kabam. The annoying thing for me is I go up against a lot of destroyers this last season, and the AI for destroyer is terrible. It's beyond. I wouldn't say it's beyond broke, but it's very wonky. It's very broken and very passive at times when it needs to be non-passive, and just feels like it's a cheat code as a defender because of the wonky state of its AI. Panther says, yeah, it caught up with the AI tweaking to make them better at throwing specials under normal circumstances. There's clearly some coding issues in the background background, because people were finding the AI very stingy throwing specials, so they tweaked it and it wound up stopping Titania's lockdown mechanic working. For me, I'm not, at times I'm seeing the AI not actually, I mean, it's Alliance Wars AI, it's some of the worst. But there you go. A lot of people have experienced different things, different issues nowadays. So, yeah, helpful. Skill issues. Yeah, right. Constructive, helpful. A lot of people coming to the board with situations where they feel that things aren't exactly working too great with the champion. Of course, saying silent nerf is a bit of a thing to say that, but it was good to see that Dave is out there looking into stuff. So appreciate Dave. I was interested to know when Dave would start his kind of like, you know, down in the trenches with the troops to see, you know, what are people talking about, what can we give to the game team to have a look at, what things people feel strongly about, what evidence as well to showcase. And yeah, so Dave says, sorry I missed this one, investigating now. So we'll hopefully find out some more information on that one, because of course a lot of people like Titania, including myself, and want to make sure that she's you know, just cool, working fine. Now we end the show on a Wednesday with, of course, Superior Iron Man buff also isn't live yet in game. The reason is there's been a bit of an issue. If you've seen the Discord, there has been a little note on the announcements. Shout out to Dave. Dave is out there getting info, relaying stuff, and this is what we need: proactive information sharing, transparency, and chat. Same thing with Kabam Crash, what he's been doing recently. Hey Summoners, looks like we were a bit too eager on the comms for Superior Iron Man's upcoming rework. He's actually slated to release in 46.0 with the August build. The good news is the info shared on his Spotlight is still correct, and that will be his kit. We look forward for you to try him next month. Excellent. Okay, good. That's at least gives you a bit of clarity there. And yeah, that's been it for the show. That's your update on Superior Iron Man. Thanks for watching. Check out some other content which will be located on screen, and let's get rocking and rolling with a brand new month of content in game, and we'll be doing plenty of guides, coverage, and other helpful bits of information. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye bye for now.